Good morning, people. Let me pull my chair up real quick, man. I'm gonna do it like that. Give me a second, y'all. Let me get this thing together. And we're going to talk. All right, man. I think we good. All right, I think we good, man. Good morning. Today is what? January the 20th, 2021. Inauguration day. We got a new president on deck, y'all. We got history in the making, so I'm not going to hold y'all. Welcome back to the Best of 7 Sports Talk. Y'all know who I be, man. 7 Mitchell in the building. Not a whole lot of things going on in the NBA, but we definitely got to talk about it because I have not been with you guys live, at least, in a little bit. So I definitely appreciate everybody that's in the live chat. We about to get right into it, man. A couple things to talk about this morning. I want to talk about Kyrie Irving as well as Delonte West, and we're going to chop it up about other hot topics going on in the NBA. Like I said, I'm not going to hold y'all up too long. I know we got the inauguration going down and all that. So yesterday, Kyrie Irving returned to practice. He had his media interview conference thing, whatever you want to call it. Kyrie Irving, like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Kyrie, like, what is wrong with you, brother? What is really wrong with you? Like, Kyrie Irving, man, he returned. He stood in front of the media yesterday, and, you know, he basically was just saying that he's back. He's happy to be back. We tried to get they tried to get specifics. Reporters tried to get detailed information on why Kyrie was unavailable, you know, for the last 2 weeks, basically. He did mention that it was some personal reasons, family reasons he really didn't want to get into. So, you know, I guess we got to respect it, you know, to a fault. But, you know, during his time away for the personal reasons, Kyrie Irving got fined a lot of money, man. The NBA fined Kyrie $50,000 alone for violating the health and safety protocols. He also lost more than, $800,000 in salary for missing the games. I think he missed like 6 or 7 games while in quarantine. Now, he really declined to answer yesterday whether or not he knew he was violating the league's coronavirus protocol rules or not. I think at that point, depending on what the situation was with his family, it really didn't make a difference. So I'm not going to pass any judgment on Kyrie, you know what I mean, for the lack of explanation. But the bottom line is he's back, it looked like. He said he's excited to join Harden and KD and get that thing started. The last game Kyrie played in for Brooklyn was on January the 5th. And remember, the next day we had the mob storming the Capitol. And Kyrie he was a no-go since then. So, I don't know, man. He did apologize to the fans, you know, who may have been rubbed the wrong way or just been confused because of the lack of communication. But, Kyrie stated that this was a family situation, a personal matter that he had to, take care of. Now, Kyrie was in the news also for some contributions that he has given, man. I know Kyrie Irving, they just talked about reportedly him, giving the George Floyd family a home, buying them a new home. They brought that up yesterday in the interview with the media, and his answer basically was that it was a team effort. But Kyrie, over the last year, I'm looking at some of his donations. Kyrie has definitely spread his wings out to the people, man. He donated over $300,000 to Feed in America. He partnered with the City Harvest to ensure that over 250,000 meals was distributed to New Yorkers. He also had partnered with Nike to donate like 17 pallets of food and masks during this trying times. He committed over $1 million to help the WNBA players who opted out of the 2020 season. Remember, some of the ladies was not going to get paid. They wasn't penalized, but they did not get paid by the WNBA due to them not wanting to play last year during the whole pandemic and everything. And Kyrie was one of the ones that helped raise money, to cover some of them ladies' salary. He also paid off college tuitions to a lot of HBCU students, including from Lincoln University. And like I said, he purchased that house for the family of George Floyd, according to Steven Jackson. He did confirm it yesterday, but he said it was a team effort. So, I will shout out Kyrie. I'm glad to see him back. I still want to know who the hell going to play defense for Brooklyn. Y'all can be so happy and go lucky all y'all want. I need to see who's going to score and play defense. Mumbles, what's popping, man? Salute to Mr. Mumbles, man. The phone lines is open, Mumbles. If you want to call up, man, you know the drill. If anybody want to call up, this is the Best of 7 Sports Talk, 929-436-2866, man. We just talking about Kyrie making his return to the NBA. He returned to practice yesterday. I don't know exactly when Brooklyn's next game is. Let's see if I can find out real quick when he's actually set to play. Brooklyn's next game is actually tonight. Brooklyn is playing at Cleveland tonight. This is a 7 o'clock time. This is not going to be televised. Tonight's games that's going to be televised. We got Boston at Philly at 7 on ESPN. They got a doubleheader. We got Phoenix at Houston, rounding out that doubleheader at 9:30. AJ in the building. AJ in the live chat. AJ says he cannot call, but if you got a Zoom links, he'll tap in from London. All right, you can't call in. You need the Zoom link. Absolutely. It should be a link in the description. AJ, I'm about to drop the link in the description box. Just give me a second. I'll see if I can drop this in the live chat. But what y'all think, man? I need to know what y'all think. Are y'all excited about Kyrie's return? Was his was his excuse enough for everybody? Are y'all satisfied with Kyrie's reasoning for being out? I mean, I think that's a big deal. I definitely want to know what y'all think about Kyrie. I know one thing for sure, and I'm going to keep saying it all season until I see some solidified defense. I'm not putting anybody up above my Lakers. Now, my Lakers got to play better. I'm not going to sit up here and play that game. My Lakers definitely got to play better as well. But to me, at least, the bottom line is consistency. Consistency is going to be a big deal, as well as just the simple fact that, my guys, rarely do they play inconsistent. Defense is definitely going to be a big deal. I can't wait for my Lakers, to show a little bit more consistency. I said before the season even started, I don't feel like this is the team that LA is going to go into the postseason with. But,
Hey, what's up,
remain to be seen. AJ in the building. What's poppin', family?
What's going on, man? I can't really see you right now. I hope I don't look too crazy right now, man.
No,
What's going?
no, you good to go, man. I'm just playing your audio only, so you good to
Okay,
go.
that's perfect. Okay, okay.
Salute to
Well,
AJ
first
out
of
in
all,
London, man. What's poppin', family?
what's going on, man? First of all, I just want to say I watch you all the time. I'm tapping in from London. I'm a battle rapper.
Okay,
You know what
salute.
I'm saying? So, I watch you all the time. I love your barologies and all of the things that you do for the battle rappers in terms of the breakdowns and just the stories and their come ups and all of that stuff that you do. So before anything, I just want to say salute to all your work and everything, because trust me, we see everything of
Word, word.
it. So,
Hey, AJ, man, I really appreciate that from the bottom, man. We should link up after the show, man. Try to get up with me, and we can do a one-on-one interview, man. So I can tap in with you, and we can get the people some backstory about what you got going on out there, man. I
oh
definitely
yeah,
love to
for
chop it up
sure,
with
for
you.
sure, for sure, for sure. I actually have a battle. Shout out to No Loose Chat, Paris, Tally, and
That's my
everybody over
sisters. That's my sister. Shout out to Paris and
there.
them. Big up the troubles
So
and
we
them.
got we
Wiretap.
gotta do that. We got that coming up on the 28th. I can't reveal the opponent yet
Okay.
because So let's just say we got that coming up. I just did Don't Flop a few months back
Okay.
as well before the year started. So there's that. But yeah, I just wanted to tap in from the sports perspective. I'm a big Kyrie Irving fan, and before we really chop this fable, I just want to say a lot of people not really thinking about, if we use rest in peace to the king Chadwick Boseman as an example. If you notice, one of his last couple of posts was him just traveling around and trying to enjoy himself
Right.
before he passed. And people didn't even give him no space or honor that in any way. They would just jumped on him and were saying things like, "Why'd you look so sick?" and
Right.
this and the third. This was before we knew that he had a terminal disease or something internal wrong with him.
In the first place, that's
Um,
a fact. That's a fact.
and then sadly he passed. And then it was, oh, he's the king. And then it was, oh, I wish we had. Do you understand what I mean? Like some
Absolutely.
people
They people giving him his flowers after it was gone, and they
after.
had no type of appreciation or any type of concern about really what was going on at the time
What was
versus talking
actually
about.
going on with him. And if you look at Kyrie, you can tell something is bothering him that he just wants to protect his inner circle from, which is why he was so, very tight lipped about it. It's just certain personal things that you just don't want to share out. And if you notice, the report says, because I tune in with you, because if I miss like a report, I'm waiting for your live and you just give me the scoop, the 411.
Yes,
So
sir.
as you reported previously that he kind of just told his teammates and then left.
Right.
When somebody does that, it's really urgent. It's urgent. They don't got the time to really say much. They need to go and take care of what they need to take care of, which is why I believe it's an internal thing, maybe with his family like that. I'm not sure who, but it might be something where it was extremely important and he just wanted to be with them and that was it. And now he's back, and
Mm-hmm.
I have faith in his ability as a basketball player to be able to communicate and work with James Harden, work with Kevin Durant, and the rest of the team. Because when you're a good basketball player, you can adapt straight away.
That's a
So I
fact.
don't feel like it's going to be a problem for him because that's another thing that they're trying to do. Oh, he's going to be third with. Oh, he's going to be this and that and the third. No, when you're a basketball player, you adapt. You adapt to the situation. It's called read and react. And you're a basketball head seven, so you know this stuff.
That's a fact. That's a super fact. Well, let me ask you this though, AJ, because you made a good point, and I agree with
Yeah,
you 100%. I
yeah,
definitely think we need to respect his boundaries of privacy, things of that matter, and it definitely seems like it's an internal issue. But what I
yeah.
want to know though, if it's a matter that maybe the community or the public can help and assist him on, how are we
Mm,
ever going to get to that resolution with that lack of communication? Like, don't you think if
mm,
it's an issue that he can't solve, we do give him his space for a
yeah.
few days or weeks or whatever, but don't you think he needs to communicate if it's not a problem that he can resolve himself in order to get help or assistance on whatever it is?
I believe that based on the position he is in, I feel as if he has the access to certain private doctors and certain things that he might not trust in terms of a system standpoint. There's certain things that I would say that I went through health wise, and I wish I went private, and I wish I had certain access to doctors. And in order to have those accesses, you need a certain amount of change. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I believe that, especially him, because he's become more aware. I don't like using the word woke because that's been tainted to me, and you've got, certain scam artists that make people that are aware, look a certain way. So I don't like using the word woke, but I will say, especially in the last couple of years, he's become more aware of certain things in terms of maybe from a holistic standpoint, maybe from a herbal standpoint. I
Right.
believe that he's probably trying to exhaust all his resources and reach out to so many different people, especially maybe from the Sabi camp, because that that's something that he's been heavily into. So I personally believe, I don't know none of this for a fact, but just seeing the way he's been moving in recent times, I believe that he is probably going down that route and using his resources first. And then if he can't, he'll probably reach out. So I
Gotcha.
believe it's something it's probably the thought of that is stressing him out. And I believe that he's figuring this thing out first, and then he may reach out to certain people that he trusts. As far as us, in terms of the public and in terms of how much reach we have, um, I, I could say that I'm happy that he's back and he addressed the fact that it was a personal issue. Because as a fan, I definitely needed to know what it was. Now, if you listen to the interview again, he kind of alluded to it as well. It wasn't just an internal thing, but it was some health things from a mental standpoint
Right.
that he kind of just needed to unplug from. And when you are going through those things, number one, a lot of people are gonna jump at you like that. They're gonna feel as if you owe them some sort of explanation when it's your mental health, when it's your issue and your problem.
That's a
You
fact.
got Stephen A jumping out the window calling for his retirement,
Retirement. That's a fact. Yeah,
which is
that kind of blew my
which is
mind.
which is and it's very disappointing that somebody that has such a loud voice, especially for us in the community, the scarce representation that we have globally on national and international airwaves, and somebody like Stephen A can jump out and call for a player's
A
retirement.
superstar's retirement.
A
One of our
superstar,
superstars.
ridiculous, ridiculous stuff. I don't understand. It's like sometimes it's like he's not aware that you're one of the few melanin representatives
Yep.
that we have.
Yep.
So when you speak on another person that looks like you, has come from the same community as you, because if I'm not mistaken, they're both from New York, like they're both around New York and New
Yep.
Jersey
Yep.
and around that area. So how
Stephen
do
A. from
you,
Hollis, Queens, and
right?
Kyrie is from Jersey. Yep.
From Jersey. They're really close to each other. I know they're not exactly the same, but to my knowledge, they're around this, like they're close. So I say that to say, like, when you grow up around this, it takes 2 minutes. Yo, Kyrie, I'm about to go on the air. I don't know what's going on with you, blah 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 and blah. I need to report this, that, and that. It takes 2 minutes.
Yep.
You would do that if you needed a scoop on a game or if there was a bust up in the locker room. But are you telling me on a personal matter, you just jump out the window and say what you said
Makes no
like
sense.
that?
Makes
And
absolutely no sense.
it's super trended. We all heard it. People in London heard it. Everybody heard how he went crazy. And guess what? He comes back and he says, it was an internal matter. I spoke to who I needed to speak to. I'm glad to be back. That's it.
That's it. That's
I
it.
bet you, I bet you all the philanthropy that Kyrie Irving's been doing, giving George Floyd's family a house, helping with HBCUs, helping feed the poor, and all of the good things that he's been doing. I bet you Stephen A. not gonna report on that.
Not one time. And Stephen A. actually has his own show now, so he has extra time to highlight some of the
Yes,
positive things. And you're right, AJ,
yes.
he's not going to do that. But let me ask you this, man. This is the best of seven sports talk. Seven Mitchell, if y'all want to call up, the phone
To
lines is
seven
open, man.
every
929
single time,
436
bro. Every time.
2866. AJ, let me ask you this, man. Let's stick to the basketball on the court.
Yes.
Now, given that
Let's
these
go.
guys remain healthy for the year,
Yep.
we're dealing with
Yep.
Kyrie, James Harden, and KD. Two guys are ball dominant, three superstars. We got Steve
Yep.
Nash as a first-year head coach.
Yep.
Realistically, if they remain healthy, how
Mm-hmm.
far do you think Brooklyn can make this year in the NBA playoffs?
I will go. My ambition is Eastern Conference Finals. My dream would be Lakers Nets Finals.
Okay.
But I think realistically they can go to the conference. Can they win the whole thing? I don't think so because I believe Now, what people are not talking about, Jared Allen and Chris LeVert were two key pieces for the Brooklyn Nets in terms of chemistry, in terms of defense, in terms of bench scoring and things of that nature.
Right.
Now, what you have is James Harden, scoring machine, one of the most annoying players to guard ever. Now, when you play basketball, you understand there's certain things that James Harden can do from an offensive standpoint, the way he's able to manipulate foul calls, the way he's able to manipulate the steps that he's able to take, how many times he could step back on his jump shot, and what he brings offensively, what they've sacrificed for him is actually pretty big, because what you now have, instead of DeAndre Jordan playing the cleanup minutes and filling in the roles for Jared Allen to get some rest, he's gone now.
Right.
Now DeAndre got to play more minutes, and I don't know if he can do the same thing that he did in his prime years when he was on the Clippers. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's happy to be starting, but how long can he last? I think that's the key for the Brooklyn Nets. It's not the offense, because as you know, all three of them are feeling players.
Right.
They like to read the game and feel the game out.
And Kyrie and James Harden are ball dominant. They really need the
And
ball more
whoever's
than
going
anything.
at that time, yeah, So I feel like they'll find their way to get their points offensively. The key now is who's actually going to be backing up DeAndre Jordan and allowing him to sit down, because you gave up the throw and you gave up a big part of your scoring in Chris LeVert. So if they can figure that out and get that sorted, they could go to the finals. But with the talent that they have, I would say semi-finals, conference finals at the most. That's what
Got you. Let's reach out to the phone lines. AJ, you stay with me, man, if you can, man. We're going to reach out to the phone lines. We got a
yeah,
call coming from out Toronto. I got
cool.
my guy,
I'm
Mr.
here if you need
Mumbles.
it. I'm right here.
All right, cool. Mr. Mumbles is going to be joining me. I see he calling in as well. I'll give him a minute to tap in his audio. So you got Brooklyn making it real deep, give or take. The chemistry works. Now, let me ask you this, because we're not going to have an all-star game, but we will have an all-star break. And I know Brooklyn traded a lot of their assets, so to speak, already. But we have seen in the past, especially when Miami, when LeBron and D Wade played together, a lot of players will come play with them and take minimum contracts just to play with them. Do you think that there's some players out there that may join Brooklyn for the cheapest contract before this year over with? Some big men that may help them put together a roster that will be solid for the playoffs?
I believe it's a possibility, but it depends who's on the market. I mean, if they went and grabbed Dwight Howard, that would have been a perfect filling. But
Right.
he's in Philly. I think he could have definitely done some of the same things Jared Allen took. And I'm a big Lakers fan. I'm happy we won, by the way, and I believe that the Lakers are the big team to beat. I was a Lakers fan when we had Chris Mim and Smush Parker.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I was a Laker fan then because I was heavily playing basketball, so I understood how mythical Kobe could be. Rest in peace to the Mamba every time.
Yes, sir.
So to watch him, win that last ring, and then for the next nearly 10 years, just be like a extra, like a sideshow. I was so mad that they did that to him. D'Antoni running him into the ground and having him break it, like ruin his. We're not gonna get there because if we really talk about it, we can talk about it.
Talk that shit.
I say that to say the Lakers are the team to beat. If they have a fit, it depends who's left, because I know Isaiah Thomas is working on some stuff, but he's not a big man. What big mans are available in the free agency? I'm not too sure who can really fill that spot right there. That's
it would have to be free agency because they have no real trade options. And when I'm looking at the sample size of the free agents that could really help a team make some noise, I don't really see a lot of interior presence being available. So you're right, AJ. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing work out as far as chemistry go. Mr. Mumbles, I see you just got to unmute your microphone. There you go. What's popping?
Yeah.
What's popping, family?
What up?
Oh, we coolin', man. Appreciate you tuning in all the way out to Toronto and all that. What you think about Kyrie returning? What you think about Kyrie returning to practice yesterday and his media interview that he gave?
I think it was very good. It kind of made people not hate him as much, thinking that he was just, flaking out and stuff. So I think a lot. I think the fans, if he comes back and shows the effort and is not this up and quitting and stuff like that,
Right.
I think the fans will totally forget this whole little time of him sitting out
Okay.
and give him the benefit of the doubt, you know?
Do you think these three can gel? Do you think the chemistry is going to work out before playoff time? Do you really think Kyrie, KD, and James Harden really can put something together to make some real noise? We know on paper they crazy dangerous, but chemistry is a big deal. Mumbles, do you think they could really put this together and make a run?
This is when the coach now, he has the challenge because you have the players. Now the coach has to find a way that all of the players are being utilized to their best ability and everyone's happy and you're not wasting you're not wasting the opportunity.
Right. AJ, let me ask you something real quick, AJ.
Yep, I'm in, bro. What's up?
If Brooklyn somehow chokes or pulls a Clippers of 2020, if they don't exceed expectations this year, who's going to get the number one blame in your opinion? KD, Kyrie, James, or Coach Nash? Who's going to get the blame if Brooklyn doesn't meet expectations this year?
All right. Well, first of all, shout out to the other caller. Shout out to Toronto. I definitely want to be there at some point. But yeah, I believe it's gonna be Kyrie just based on the fact that he's an easy target, and a lot of people can't understand why he's not a robot. And you know, when you're human and you go through certain things, and you need your time and your space because of how he left, they're just automatically going to say, oh, well, if Kyrie didn't leave and blah, 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 then, but in my brain, it's like, you've got a whole nother superstar. You have a whole nother entity in James Harden, right? Then you've got the first year coach in Steve Nash.
Right.
Are they running 7 seconds or less? I don't think so. It don't look like they're running the D'Antoni system. It looks like they're going out there and feeling the game, and allowing their read and reacts to kind of dictate how much they really do on the floor.
Right.
So I believe, I don't want it to be Kyrie, but I just know how people think. The minute something goes wrong, the minute they don't win that ring, they're just going to automatically say it's Kyrie's fault. He left at a point when we were still building. How could he do that? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I don't think that's the case. I believe if you trade away your core pieces and you get another superstar, you have to figure it out on the fly. They didn't get a shoot around. They didn't get extra days to make this thing work. They didn't even trade in the off season. They traded in the almost in the middle of the season. Do you know what I mean? So they'll blame Kyrie, but I don't think it'll be his fault. I just think
I think the only one safe from blame is Kevin Durant.
Okay. Why is that, Mumbles? Why does KD get a pass regardless of what happened?
Because KD's going to pull up the numbers, and he's won before. Harden haven't won.
True.
Yeah.
So you can blame Harden.
Yeah.
Nash haven't won as a coach. You can blame him. And Kyrie, well, he's won, but he's had his issues.
This year alone, just like AJ referenced. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I think as long as Kevin Durant pulls up the numbers that we expect from him, he's the only one that's not going to feed any of the blame.
Got you. Now, I'm looking in the live chat, fellas. They got a couple names that they're throwing out there that could possibly help Brooklyn make a run, but I'm not sure how realistic this is, so y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm seeing trade for Blake Griffin. Do y'all think that's realistic?
No.
Who are they going to trade?
No, I don't even think that's realistic. Say if they could even get him, what role is Blake gonna play? Like when you already have a big no, that's not gonna work. That's me being completely real. And what would they give up? They already kind of gave up their bench and a starting center just for Harden. So that would mean that they'd have to trade one of the big three just to get Blake. I don't see that working. My bad, Mumbles, but I don't see it, me personally.
What you think, Mumbles?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think, who do they have left that they can give up for Blake?
that's not going to allow them to compromise, because if they trade DeAndre Jordan for Blake, you're giving away height for height.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
you're not helping your cause. And they gave away so many draft picks to Houston. Houston is the team that really got everything on deck. If you want to be technical, Houston is one that really got a lot of the assets. I don't know how deep they're gonna make in the West, but it's gonna be interesting. Jordan Goldsmith in the live chat. Salute to Jordan. He says, call up Gortat. Remember Gortat from the Wizards? What y'all think about that?
That would be nice, but
Good
I don't. We talking about someone that can fill Jarrett Allen's spot in terms of blocking shots, running the floor. Do you know what I'm saying? With Gortat, he's more of a solid post player. I don't see him being a defensive stopper the way Jarrett Allen was.
That's my.
Because you even said they need defense right now. Like,
I definitely feel like they need defense. They're not going to win an NBA championship without defense. They're not going to win without defense. But let me ask you this, because you talked about Jarrett Allen departing. Do you think that the firepower that James Harden added to the Nets, does that balance out losing Jarrett Allen on the defensive end?
No way. Because on top of the fact that he was a defensive stopper, there was a whole bunch of chemistry that he had with somebody that has your back like he had their back like that. You can't buy that. Like, you gotta fill that void, because remember, a lot of people kind of just know him as a stopper, but he was also somebody that could catch lobs, that could run the break, that could pass the ball, and he did a lot of different things for Brooklyn. I obviously, as a big Kyrie fan, I kind of watched Brooklyn before they were, had access to Kevin, because he was dealing with his injuries. Jarrett Allen was a big part of what they did chemistry wise. He kept them confident. And obviously before Kyrie went down, they looked pretty good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kyrie actually looked like a point guard last year, which is very difficult to say. But he gave a lot of assists to someone like him. And he had a good upside. And I was just kind of wanting to see how they were going to make that work, to be honest. But, I don't think James Harden's scoring can fill a defensive void, because everybody's scoring in the league.
Right.
You might get a guaranteed 25 from James Harden, but what good is an extra 25 when you're also giving up
25 points a game? That's
it's not. There's no actual balance. You need a bigger defensive presence, or you need somebody else that can do what DeAndre does, so he can actually get crucial minutes, or you can rest them for a few games, so when they come playoff time, they're ready to go. And I just don't. I don't know who else that they got, and I don't think Blake Griffin at this point in his career can do that for them. Like, I don't see it.
Well, in other news in the NBA, Delonte West, he is now working at the drug rehab center in Florida that he actually attended, thanks to Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban when he was homeless not too long ago. Delonte is definitely trying to get his life back on track. Our thoughts and our prayers is out to him. Hopefully, he can, make that adjustment and that transition. Now, if y'all remember, Delonte was treated at the Rebound Therapy Center in Florida. Mark Cuban had picked him up at a gas station last September after pictures had went viral all over social media. Delonte, 37 years old, he averaged just under 10 points and 3.6 assists per game over his 8 NBA seasons. At first I always was like, this is karma for Delonte for all the stories and the rumors about him sleeping with LeBron's mother and all that stuff that happened and shit like that. So I really honestly had no love for Delonte, but seeing his struggles, what he went through, and seeing him trying to bounce back, it looked like a real redemption story, and I hope to see him win. What's your thoughts on Delonte in this transition that he's trying to make?
Go ahead, Mama. You go first.
With that, like, you just gotta, honestly, once you get to that type of level, he was home, you just gotta wish you gotta just wish the best,
right,
for people at that point. I understand, as a player there was no love lost and stuff like that, but nobody wants to see somebody's life be down the drain and whatever.
That's right.
It's not like he could come back to the to the NBA. You just gotta hope he gets himself together hopes that he uses his experience to help others and, make a successful way for himself and stuff like that. I don't even know. Like, yeah.
Word. What about you, KB? What's your thoughts on Delonte West, him getting this job working now at the rehab center that he was in last year?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I believe that it's a positive thing. Sometimes life can really come full circle, and when you get out of a situation, you know what that feels like, and you want to help anybody else in that situation. I'm glad he back on his feet. I mean, you know, karma's real, so I believe he probably figured that out more than anybody else, and he don't want nobody else to go through what he went through
Right.
because what he went through was a madness based on his endeavors and what he was doing and the rumors, etc., etc. So I think it's good that he's back on his feet. I think it's good that he's working and helping others out that may have been in the same situation as him. You can only wish him luck. I'm glad that he's not messed up as he was, because he looked really, really, really messed up,
Yeah, he
like
looked like he
bad.
was damn near on his deathbed. He was.
Like, yeah, it wasn't a good side. It wasn't a good side at all. So to see him back on his feet, to see him doing well, and to hear that he's actually helping others, yeah, that's a big positive. Nothing but respect for someone like that. If you need anybody in terms of actually coming from rock bottom to what he's doing now, you could look at that story, and when you see something like that, you know that you could do anything. So that's very positive for sure. For sure, sure, sure.
That's it, man. Grown man talk. Y'all heard it first. Mr. Mumbles, AJ. I'm Seven Mitchell, man. You guys are now rocking with the best. This is the best of Seven Sports Talk. I appreciate everybody tuning in this morning, man. I hope y'all stay safe. Have a great day. Make sure y'all hit that like button one time for the kid. If y'all are new to the live stream, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. AJ Mumbles, man. I appreciate y'all time, fellas.
Of
Yes,
course, you
every
know what
time.
it is.
Alrighty.
Every time, Seven. You know that.
Yes, sir. AJ, I'm going to link up with you, man, today, man. Get with me if you can find me somewhere on social media, and we're going to set
Yeah,
up an
yeah. I think
appointment.
I think I got you on time. I'm a DM you. We're gonna sort some stuff out for sure.
Got you. Mumbles, we going to chop it up, man. We got some bad web shit to do later if you free, man.
Definitely, man. Yeah.
All right, I got you.
All right, then. Holler
Uh,
at you later.
all right, fellas. Peace again to the battle rap community, man, out there in the live chat. Definitely appreciate y'all for joining us this afternoon, man. Big shout out to y'all. Shout out to my guy J.O. as always that was in the chat showing support, man. Definitely appreciate all that, man. Big up to all of y'all. Jordan Goldsmith in the building as well. Salute to him. Big up to y'all, man. Y'all stay safe. This is the best of Seven Sports Talk. I'm Seven Mitchell, man, about to get up out of here.